Have you ever just looked around your house and felt, well, completely safe? I want to play a really quick game of observation with you to kick things off today. Think about an ordinary, everyday hallway. Is it possible there's a hidden, heavy metal danger lurking right there in plain sight? Keep that in the back of your mind because the answer might honestly shock you.
I mean, if you're just glancing around, it probably looks like a completely innocent coat rack, right? Just a place to hang your hat. But according to author James Lilly, incredibly dangerous heavy metals, we're talking things like mercury, lead, and cadmium, they very often hide in plain sight right inside our homes. They are so insidious. And the crazy part is, we actually pay good money to bring them right through our front doors.
So, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into the step-by-step biological insights from James Lilly's fascinating book, Heavy Metals Detox. We're going to break down exactly what these metals are, how they quietly hack their way into our biology, and absolutely most importantly, how we can empower ourselves to finally flush them out.
All right, here is our roadmap for the day. 1. The hidden invaders. 2. How metals hack the body. 3. Your built-in detox pathways. And 4. Pretox, preparing to heal.
Okay, kicking things off with Section 1, the hidden invaders.
And here is the answer to our little opening mystery. Right next to those coats on the wall sits an old Honeywell thermostat, and hiding right behind that dial is elemental mercury. It's a shiny silver-white metal. Now, as long as the glass vial holding it is perfectly intact, you're fine. But if that glass breaks and hits the floor, it shatters into these tiny droplets that actually evaporate at room temperature, turning into a highly toxic vapor that you breathe right into your lungs. No warning, no smell.
But the author points out that sudden accidents aren't the only danger here. For most of us, chronic exposure is a slow, meandering road. Just think about some of the most common sources. We've got lead leaching from old water pipes, or even sneaking in through imported spices like turmeric. Then there's cadmium, which is chilling in synthetic rubber mats and batteries. Aluminum is famously in our pots and pans, sure, but it's also tucked into baking powder and daily antiperspirants. And arsenic? It routinely shows up in private well water and even certain rice products. It is quite literally an omnipresent issue.
Moving right along to Section 2, how metals hack the body.
So, how does the damage actually happen? Well, it all starts with your brain's primary defense system, the blood-brain barrier. Lilly explains that this layer is basically a VIP bouncer meant to keep toxins out of the club. But neurotoxins, like lead, aluminum, and mercury, they can sneak past this barrier with total ease. Once they are inside, they overstimulate the pituitary gland, which is the master gland regulating your hormones. That leads to severe symptoms like brain fog, anxiety, and that horrible feeling of being utterly exhausted but completely wired at the same time.
Now, what's really interesting here is this core concept of mineral mimicry. Your body desperately needs essential minerals like calcium, zinc, and potassium just to survive. But heavy metals? They are basically master disguise artists. They look chemically identical to these vital minerals. So your body gets tricked. Lead mimics calcium and leaches right into your bones. Cadmium sweeps in and displaces your immune-boosting zinc. The metals literally hack your biology, forcing it to absorb them.
And the hacking certainly doesn't stop there. These imposter minerals completely mess up your enzyme activity. Normally, enzymes speed up chemical reactions using specific amino acids. Well, mercury absolutely loves to attach itself to something called a sulfahedral group inside these proteins. When it does that, it acts like a roadblock, blocking essential nutrients from ever reaching your mitochondria. The mitochondria are the tiny powerhouses of your cells, so it's exactly like secretly draining the battery inside your phone, leaving you with extreme, debilitating fatigue.
Which brings us to the good news in Section 3, your built-in detox pathways.
The book identifies 6 distinct pathways that, when fully optimized, can clear that awful brain fog and bring your energy back online. You've got your lungs filtering out airborne toxins, you have your skin acting essentially as a third kidney to sweat the bad stuff out, your actual kidneys are filtering an absolutely astounding 150 liters of blood every single day. Plus, there's the lymphatic system, your digestive tract, and finally, the ultimate master multitasker, the liver.
So how do we support these systems? Well, take the lymphatic system, for instance. It's responsible for transporting infection-fighting white blood cells all over. But unlike the cardiovascular system, it doesn't have its own pump. It relies 100% on your physical movement.
Hippocrates hit the nail on the head when he said, walking is man's best medicine. Walking, rebounding on a mini trampoline, or even taking what the author calls a James Bond shower, where you blast freezing cold water right at the end of your shower, literally forces your lymphatic system to contract and push those stored toxins right out.
So the whole game is keeping these pathways clear and functioning. Let's look at the digestive system. The author uses a brilliant visual metaphor for this. I want you to think of your digestive tract as a bicycle inner tube running all the way from your mouth to the exit. Under normal, healthy conditions, everything you eat stays safely inside that tube until the nutrients are pulled out and the waste is eventually expelled.
But what actually happens when that inner tube gets tiny, microscopic nicks? This is the core issue behind what we call leaky gut. Things like inflammatory gluten proteins or a candida yeast overgrowth can damage that delicate intestinal wall. Suddenly, microscopic food particles start leaking right out of the inner tube and directly into your bloodstream. Your immune system panics. It treats that random food particle as a dangerous foreign invader, triggering severe, system-wide inflammation.
Now, a healthy digestive pathway also heavily relies on strong stomach acid, specifically hydrochloric acid. The source notes something wild here. Your stomach acid should naturally be strong enough to literally dissolve metal. No joke. This extreme acidity is absolutely required to break your food down into a liquid mush and to destroy any pathogens you might have swallowed. But if years of chronic stress or popping antacids have watered down your stomach acid, that entire digestive pathway becomes compromised. Your body simply won't absorb the true minerals it desperately needs to detoxify. All right, section 4, pre-tox, preparing to heal. Now, before you dive headfirst into a heavy metal detox, the absolute ultimate pre-tox step is mastering your sleep. Why? Because of a biological marvel called the glymphatic system. When you hit deep sleep, your brain literally shrinks down slightly. This allows cerebral spinal fluid to rush in and power wash away all the toxic metabolic waste from the day, including beta amyloid proteins, which, by the way, are heavily linked to Alzheimer's. If you aren't getting quality sleep, your brain physically cannot take out the chemical trash.
To make sure the glymphatic system can actually do its job, the author outlines some pretty strict sleep hygiene rules. You have to optimize your natural melatonin production. That means committing to a reasonable bedtime and ruthlessly blocking blue light from screens at least 2 hours prior. He actually recommends a great free app called F-Flux to automate this on your devices. And to really calm the nervous system down, he suggests a hot bath with Epsom salts and baking soda right before bed. It's an amazing way to boost your body's magnesium levels transdermally through the skin.
So let's see how all of this builds into the complete pre-tox checklist. The goal is to radically reduce your body's overall burden. First, remove physical stressors. That means doing the work to heal that leaky gut we talked about, maybe incorporating some mineral-rich bone broth. Second, remove emotional stressors wherever you possibly can, mostly because chronic stress completely shuts down your digestion. And third, remove chemical stressors. Simply stop bringing toxic cleaning products or highly processed fake foods into your home, period.
With those huge stressors out of the way, you can focus on remineralization. Remember how we said heavy metals are sneaky imposters? Well, by flooding your body with true minerals, you naturally push out the toxic ones. Clean up your diet first. Swap out standard table salt for a true mineral-rich option like Baja Gold sea salt. Start snacking on Brazil nuts. They are absolutely packed with selenium, which is a mineral that directly protects your body against mercury. And give your hardest working filter, the liver, some love with a little fresh beet juice in the morning. James Lilly leaves us with this absolute golden rule. Whenever an attempt is made to remove toxins, don't be greedy. Detoxification isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. It is incredibly important to remember that true, lasting healing takes patience and it takes structured consistency. Your body wants to heal. It really does. You just have to give it the right tools and a realistic timeline to get the job done.
So I want to leave you with this question to think about today. How are you going to optimize your body's built-in cleanup crew tonight? Are you going to start actively reading food labels to dodge that hidden aluminum? Are you brave enough to try a freezing cold James Bond shower tomorrow morning? Or will you just commit to simply turning off your screens to let your glymphatic system properly wash your brain tonight? The choice is entirely yours, and your biology is waiting on you. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, stay curious.